Back in 2017, DreamWorks Animation released an adaptation of Dave Pilkey's Captain Underpants, which did a really good job of capturing the humor and look of those books. Now, the studio has produced another animated film based on a different Pilkey series, Dogman. While I'm very familiar with the Captain Underpants books, having greatly enjoyed reading them in my childhood, Dogman was first published in 2016, well after I'd stopped reading Pilkey's books. Thus, I came into this movie completely new to the world and its characters. However, I immediately got into the wacky adventure the filmmakers had put on screen. This is one of those animated films that is constantly throwing jokes at you, and thankfully a lot of them do hit. It did not take long into the movie for me to start laughing at the jokes and the willingness to try all kinds of gags, whether it's meta humor of characters reacting to the words on the screen, or scenes that have fun with the familiar dog traits. Everyone involved, including director-writer Peter Hastings, completely understand the silliness of this concept and just have fun with it. Hastings was one of the main writers on Animaniacs and was behind the Captain Underpants animated series DreamWorks produced for Netflix, so his sense of humor is perfectly suited to the Dave Pilkey style. Dogman becomes a likable and sympathetic hero as he tries to deal with his new abilities and now inhabiting his owner's body instead of having him by his side. The film is able to strike that balance between the comedic wackiness of the story and the more heartbreaking parts of how Dogman came to be. The most entertaining character in the movie is his arch-nemesis, Petey the Cat. His constant attempts to stop Dogman and various inventions provide a lot of hilarity, as do his interactions with his unpaid assistant. Pete Davidson proves to be an excellent casting choice for Petey, finding a lot of the humor in his grumpy attitude and obsessive need to get Dogman. However, what surprised me is the genuine arc he goes through, and of all the little storylines in this movie, his was my favorite. The police chief, voiced by Lil Rel Howery, and a reporter, voiced by Isla Fisher, have their own very funny moments and bring further life to this world. As the story goes on, Dogman just gets wackier and wackier, and I really enjoyed the turns it took. There are plenty of amusing running gags that do serve a purpose beyond just mere jokes, and fit with the characters, the arcs they go through, and what they're trying to achieve. Peter Hastings throws a lot of the viewer, but it really becomes too exhausting, and it nicely bounces between Dogman and Petey the Cat storylines of ease. Little Petey, a clone created by Petey, has his own arc he goes through, and the film even uses him to explore some interesting themes. There's a contrast between Little Petey's optimism and bright outlook at the world and Petey's cynicism and preference for misery that does work in exploring both of them and how different people might view the world based on their experiences and what they're taught. The interactions are also very funny. Much like with Captain Underpants, the artists and animators did an exceptional job of translating Dave Pilkey's distinct drawing style to computer animation. There's so many wonderful little details, like the way words are written like a child, and the architecture of the buildings. The animation also contributes to the overall energy of the film, but Hastings directs in such a way that it avoids becoming a sugar rush. The story moves at a solid pace and does allow for moments to breathe. The Toddler character only communicates with barks and growls, which thus results in moments of him just sitting quietly and thinking about the past lives of Officer Knight and his dog Greg. Even Petey gets scenes like that. The film's structure and exploration of Dogman coping with his new abilities and role in society feel almost reminiscent of other movies with this premise, like RoboCop and Inspector Gadget. And unless you think I'm reaching with that second comparison, Sherry Odery voices the mayor in this movie, a role she also played in Inspector Gadget. It's able to tackle these themes and ideas with a lot of cleverness in the humor. Even pop culture references are well utilized in Dogman, including a variation on a famous line from a James Cameron movie that could have easily been corny and eye-rolling, but instead made me laugh thanks to the context, timing, and delivery. I really enjoyed the layers of the humor and story throughout Dogman, and as a result, this becomes yet another delightful adaptation of a Dave Pilkey book. While we may not have gotten a Captain Underpants sequel, this at least provides a winning substitute. It makes me curious what Pilkey creation, DreamWorks Animation, might decide to tackle next. The Dumb Bunnies, perhaps? By the way, before the movie, there's a new Bad Guys short, as they get into all sorts of hilarious hijinks as they try to make it to an important meeting. Overall, there are definitely a lot of laughs to be had at Dogman.